Most of us are taught to work for money, right? But what if I told you that some people don't just work for it, they actually invent it? So today we're going to dive into this huge idea from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the concept that money isn't just something you earn, it's something you can literally create.
And this quote right here, this is the absolute key to everything. It's not about how much cash you have in the bank. It's about having a mind that's been trained to see opportunities that everybody else just walks right past. Seriously, think of your mind as the factory where wealth is actually built, not your 9-to-5 job.
I know, it sounds a little bit like magic, doesn't it? Inventing money? It seems totally impossible. But this isn't about some kind of wizardry. It's all about financial intelligence. And to really see how it works, let's look at a real-world example from the book that shows this in action. Okay, so let's see how this works in the real world. We're going to break down a deal that honestly sounds almost too good to be true, but it perfectly illustrates this whole idea of inventing money from, well, basically nothing.
It all starts right here. Picture a down market. There's a house out there that's actually worth $75,000, but it's on sale for just $20,000.
Then, just a little bit later, with absolutely no renovations, it's sold for $60,000. And boom, just like that, a $40,000 asset was created, seemingly out of thin air. And you want to know the craziest part? The entire deal, from start to finish, took a grand total of 5 hours. So this is the million-dollar question, right? Or, well, in this case, the $40,000 question. How do you do that without a ton of cash to begin with? The answer isn't having more money. The answer is having something way more valuable: financial knowledge. So before we dig into the nuts and bolts of that deal, we really need to understand the tool that made it all happen in the first place. It all comes back to training your greatest asset, your mind, and building what the book calls financial intelligence. So what even is financial intelligence? Well, it's not just about saving your pennies or making a budget. It's a creative skill. It's about seeing more options on the table and being able to solve financial problems in ways most people wouldn't even think of. It's about actively creating your own luck instead of just, waiting for something good to happen. Okay, so to really invent money, you need a specific toolkit. The book lays out these 4 foundational skills. Think of them as the pillars that hold up a high financial IQ. These are the 4 big ones. First up, accounting. This is just financial literacy, being able to actually read the story that the numbers are telling you. Second, you've got investing, which is all about the strategies for making your money work for you. Third is understanding markets, knowing the real-world dance of supply and demand so you can spot a killer deal. And finally, the law, which is all about using legal structures like corporations to your advantage for taxes and protection. Get these 4 down and you have the foundation for creating wealth. All right, let's get back to that incredible deal. Let's actually deconstruct it and see exactly how those 4 pillars were put to work to invent $40,000 from practically nothing. So let's walk through this. First, they used understanding markets to spot that undervalued house. Then, they applied some creative investing knowledge. Instead of buying it outright, they just borrowed the $2,000 down payment. After a quick ad, the house sold. Now here's the really brilliant part. The buyers signed a promissory note for the $40,000 difference. So by using their knowledge of the law and accounting, that piece of paper became a real, legal, tangible asset. Money was literally created on paper. And right here, this is the magic moment. That $40,000 note isn't just a number. It's now an active asset sitting in the asset column, and it's generating a 10% return. That's $4,000 a year in passive income. Money was truly invented here, creating a whole new income stream from a single idea. So let's just recap how powerful this is. The deal used 0 of their own money, which means the return on investment was, well, technically infinite. It created a brand new stream of passive income. And get this wasn't some one-off fluke. They repeated this exact strategy 6 more times. And that's the crucial point. By just repeating that same process 6 times in their spare time, they created over $190,000 in new income-producing assets. That adds up to about $19,000 in new income every single year, all from that initial idea. So what's the real lesson here? What's the big takeaway from all of this? Because it's not actually about real estate. It's about learning how you can create your own luck. See, the lesson isn't to go out and try to copy this exact deal. Market conditions change. The real lesson is that by developing your financial intelligence, by mastering those 4 pillars, you train your mind to see the invisible opportunities that are always out there in any market at any time.
And this right here, this really just illustrates the choice that everyone has. You've got path number 1, work hard, pay a ton in taxes, and try to save whatever's left over. Or you have path number 2, take the time to develop your financial intelligence and start using the power of your brain and your asset column. So the real question isn't just about what you learned today, it's which path are you going to choose from here on out?